Video, I am going to talk about Git branches and the concept of merge. It will be two-part video. In the first part, I will explain things conceptually and what is going on behind the scenes. In the second video, with these pictures on the one side, I will give you examples with the code and we can see the results with our own eyes in Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's start with the idea of a branch. What is a branch? Branch is nothing but a pointer to a commit. For example, let's say we are in the main branch. Main branch is the default branch that you are in when you create a repository for the first time, and if you haven't created any other branches. So you're in the main branch. And in this main branch, let's call this line here main branch. Initially, the main branch points to this commit. When we create new commit, this commit will point to the previous parent commit in the main branch. So the branch will point to the next commit. For example, main was pointing to this commit, but when we made changes and we committed those changes, now the main points to this commit. And head is also moving along with the main. In the first case, it was pointing to this one indirectly. And in the second case, it's pointing to this commit. So this is simply the idea of branch. Okay, now let's talk about what happens when we create a new branch. And as you can see here, this is our main. I will write it again, main, and we have some commits. This is the first commit, second, and the third one. At this third commit, as you can see, we have a new branch created from the third commit in the main branch. And how do we do it? Okay, I will not dive into the syntax of how do we do it because I told you I will explain it in the next video. So we create a new branch from this commit and then we start working on that branch. While we're working on that branch, nothing happens in the main branch. So you make new changes to the project and you commit those changes. For example, the first and the second commit. So we have created a new branch and we have made changes. We have two commits in that new branch. What we want to do right now is to merge this branch. Let's call it a branch 1. This is branch 1 and this is the main branch, this part here. Okay, we don't need this part of the graph, so I'm going to delete it. Let's delete. Yeah. So we let's also delete this. We don't need. We are here on the branch 1 at this commit. So what we want to do, we want to merge this branch with the main branch. So in other words, we want to accept those changes. We want to see those changes in the main branch. Let's say in this branch we created a new at this point in the main branch, we created a new branch and we made some changes. So in the new branch, we don't see those changes. There's nothing um, that points to this change. And this is actually, it doesn't mean this point doesn't mean this arrow doesn't mean that this commit points to its parent. This is not this uh, commit's parent. It's just the way of me showing that this is the commit that we created, the branch. So I'm not gonna do it as a row. I will do it like this. Okay. So what happens when we want to see those changes in the main branch? Because those changes only exist in our branch one, the branch that we created. So what we want to do, we want to create a relation between this commit and this commit. So we can reach this commit from the main branch. We can do that in this case. In this case, we just can do fast forward merge. This kind of merge is called fast forward. So this commit now points to the main branch. So this is called fast forward merge. This is the first type of merge that we learned, fast forward. And let's look at a different scenario in this case. And when we do fast forward, we draw this arrow directly, and these commits, this commit doesn't exist anymore in the commit history because it's a fast forward merge. And now let's talk about different type of commit. Git merge with no fast forward. The same analogy, we are here, we created, and okay, this is wrong. It's not a line, it's just, it's not, it doesn't mean that this commit points to this one, it's just a way of me explaining that this is the point we created the new branch. So this is the branch one. So we created a new branch, we made some changes, now we have one to commit. And again, we want to see those changes in the main branch as well. And how do we do it? This is the second way. So in the first way, we just made a pointer to the last commit in the main from the last commit in branch one. But in that case, it deleted all of the history in the branch one. What we want to do, if you want to keep the history of branch one, the history of this commit, we do a merge with no fast forward. So what it does, it creates a new commit, and this commit will have two parents. The first parent will be the last commit in the branch one. The second parent will be the last commit in the main branch. By doing so, we make sure that nothing is lost in the history of the branch one. Okay, so now let's talk about merge complex. The examples that I showed so far didn't have a merge problem, and I will tell you why. In both cases, we created a new branch at this point, and we made changes on branch one. Then we just merged the branch one with the main. What if we create a branch, and while we are working on the branch one, someone comes and it updates the main branch. So there is a new commit in the main branch. We can't do fast forward because if we just do fast forward in the main branch, then the last commit in the main branch will be this, and it will be its parent. We lost the relation, the history of the commit that as we or someone had made while we were working on the branch one. So how do we solve this problem? Okay, the first way is to delete the changes that we've made in this commit. So make sure it's the same as this one, those changes. Then the conflict will be resolved. But this is not what we want all the time, because what if we also want these changes? We don't want to lose the history of this commit. We don't want to synchronize the content of this commit with the commit where we created the branch. And in this case, Git rebase is the solution. And I have drawn this graph here. So this is the problem that I have been talking about. As you can see, the main branch, this is the point where we create a new branch, a branch one, and in the branch one we have two commits. And meanwhile, we are working here. There are commits that were made after the branching. So in that case, if we try to do merge, then there will be a conflict because there are commits here that points to main. It just cannot be deleted. It can't happen. It's not possible. Why it's not possible? Because what about the history of these commits, right? What are we going to do with this? The update will be lost here. So the solution after we do git rebase, let's say we try to do this and now we have a merge conflict. With git rebase, what we are doing, simply we change the history of branching. So as you can see in the history, it shows that this is the commit that where the branch one commit is created. Branch one is created, sorry. We change that fact by saying to Git, we're saying to Git, please change the history and pretend that the new branch was created in the last commit of the main. By doing so, and this is not, again, doesn't mean that this points to this commit. This just means this is the point we created the branch. Also here, yeah. So we changed the point of branch creation to the last commit. Then in that case, the merge conflict is resolved. Because right now, after this point, the new point where we create the new branch. So in other words, we're saying to the Git that please pretend that this wasn't the point that we created that branch. This is the point we created that branch. Then simply it becomes a much more simpler problem. It will be the same as these examples. It will be the same as if we didn't make any change since we created the branch one. So in that case, we can do fast forward or non-fast forward merge with the main branch. Thank you for your attention.